This video is sponsored by Dashlane. To keep your online identity secure, go to dashlane.com/citybeautiful to try it for free. I've always been fascinated by the game Minecraft, but I've just never had the time to really get into it. But recently I found out that people were creating entire cities in Minecraft, and I knew I just had to take a look. So in this video, I'm going to go through 3 different cities in Minecraft and give you my thoughts on them as a city planner. So let's go take a look. Okay, so here we are in Metropolis, I think it's pronounced. It's the first city we're going to check out. I'm starting here sort of out of town. I'm really close to this really nice suspension bridge. And that kind of leads to nothing right there. There's not really much beyond the suspension bridge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a trip down this road. This road goes all the way through downtown and back out the other side so we can get a good look at the transect or the kind of cross section of this city. So let me get started here. We'll head this way. Excuse me, I'm new to Minecraft, as I mentioned in the beginning, so control of this game is not great. So, okay, so we already went from sort of countryside forest into multi-story buildings. So this to me says that the creators of this game, maybe weren't interested in creating sort of single-family residential suburbs, and they went right for the tall buildings, which is cool. I understand why. So a little bit of background here as we're scrolling into this new neighborhood. Like Metropolis has been building, the person who's been making this game, or making this city, has been making it since 2011, which is kind of amazing. And they're using Vancouver, BC as an inspiration with some kind of Seattle elements and a New York City element as well. And this game has been this map has been downloaded over 200,000 times on Planet Minecraft. So this is really a popular city. And I can see why. I mean, this is already quite nice. We can see here we have what's called a cap park, where you have a park going over a roadway here. You can see down there. And already we're sort of, I think, downtown, or pretty darn close. These are really tall buildings. So that was a fast transition from forest to downtown. And these buildings do look like Vancouver. I mean, props to the creator here for really sort of mimicking the look and feel of Vancouver. And what do I mean when I say the look and feel of Vancouver? So Vancouver is well known for these towers called point towers, as some call them here. So I'm going to try to zoom into one here a little bit more and see if they replicated the point tower look a little bit. I'm going off the transect here. And you can see, yes, they have down here. So the point towers, they're skinny modern high rises, primarily residential. But down below here, this one does a great job of it. Some of the other ones, yeah, they do it a little bit here too. So they have a podium or base. And in Vancouver, the podium and base is often a 2 or 3 story townhouse or retail at the bottom. And the bottom layer here conforms to the sidewalk really well. So you'll see that the base is really wide and goes right up to the sidewalk on all sides, while the tower is skinnier and doesn't take up the entire lot. So that's what a point tower is, and that's what Vancouver uses quite a bit in its city. And the reason they do this is pretty smart, actually. So you create a livelier streetscape when you have the building meet the sidewalk edge, especially if you have lots of doors and windows, people coming in and out, like in a townhouse situation or in a retail situation. So you enliven the sidewalk, you make the street really pleasant to be on, but you still allow developers to build high rises and get a lot of density. So you get that density. The narrow towers also make it so you don't have a lot of shadows on the sidewalk. So in all, it's a really good system, and it's been exported into other cities as well. Vancouver isn't the only one doing it these days, but they're so well known for it because their skyline is almost entirely these towers. Okay, so those are some of the towers of downtown. I'm just going to kind of scroll back here. There's some nice urban parks I really like. Yeah, see, the skyline's coming into view here more. I'm going to go off of the transect a little bit here. Oh, I like that little plaza. It's very nice. All in all, I'm like super impressed, by the way. I should just say this right off the bat with this project. Oh my gosh, there's even a building under construction. The amount of time it must take to build these buildings is insane. I can only imagine. It must be a group effort of some kind. So yeah, this is great here. So you have the podium or the base here. And you have a nice little green roof, even with next to a plaza. Very nice, very nicely done. Yeah, the amount of work that must have been taken to do this is just impressive. When you have, this is great. I mean, one of the things I was wondering about when I started looking at these was if we're gonna see buildings of different eras. And this, to me, this white and black building here feels really 1970s, which is kind of great. You want to see sort of a mix of building ages because cities aren't built all in one era, right? They grow through time. Architectural styles change. So, a lot of these point towers that I mentioned are very sort of modern looking, or like they've come from like this century. But it's nice to see buildings that look like they're from different eras. And as I said, that Seattle was a model here. Ooh, and even the Cascadian flag, I really like that. I lived in Portland for a while, and it's one of my favorite cities. So this whole Pacific Northwest vibe, I'm really loving here. And I also love, speaking of different eras, how nice they have these lower rise. Let me go down a little bit. These lower rise buildings from like maybe like 50, 100 years ago. I really like that mixed in. So you have this older downtown look punctuated by the taller towers, which gives it much more of a realistic feel. And I love even the cobblestone street details. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. That goes through here. That's great. Cobblestone streets and this nice little park here. I will say that I find these streets to be very, very narrow. And I made a video about this. I love narrow streets, particularly in the suburbs. But in cities like this feels really, really too narrow, especially for an American Canadian type of city. So it doesn't look like they have room for, say, like on-street parking. That could be something that, you might consider adding. The street proportions here are just very, very narrow compared to the buildings. Retailers in this particular city here at Tupolis might be upset that there's no on-street parking. Retailers love the idea that there's parking right in front of their building so that shoppers know that there's a possibility that they could park right in front of the business, even though oftentimes that isn't the case. Okay, so we got the street. Let's just follow the street here. I'm going to keep going. I like this. And I kind of like this angle. I was a little bit high, but I like being able to see the street front here and some of these nice like billboards. Yeah, it's a really nice modern city. And oh, look, okay, we have parking garages. So I'm not seeing as many parking lots as I thought I would see, but there's a nice parking garage there. One thing that would be really cool, and maybe because this is sort of a little bit of a fantasy city, there aren't just that many decrepit lots or like empty parking lots waiting for redevelopment. I'm looking over here because these buildings are sort of like nondescript. And that's sort of the thing. And this looks a little bit like office or kind of light industrial uses over here. Let me get back to that main street. So all in all, this is like, it's great showing different kinds of land use, different heights of buildings. And as we're leaving downtown, it seems like we're leaving downtown. The building heights are getting lower. That's great. Okay, so now we're starting to get to more strip commercial. Okay, here's an IKEA. I would say this is a very urban IKEA. So you have across the street from an IKEA, very tall buildings. So the transect I'm talking about. So new urbanists like to use this concept of a transect where there's 6 different zones and it goes from the most urban city center all the way out to rural, and it kind of there's a gradient of densities. And different cities have different gradients of densities, more different curves of densities. And this city here has a very steep curve. You're going from very tall buildings to IKEA suburbia very quickly, which is one thing where it's maybe not super, like real life, but again, it's a fantasy city. I would also say like these on-ramps are a little bit, I wouldn't call them super convincing, but it's cool to see a highway, an elevated highway. Anyway, okay, so we got some nice row houses here. So these row houses, these brick row houses, I guess they're sort of modern, but like, again, they might feel more at home in the historic center and soccer fields. But we still have, so we're kind of getting more low density neighborhoods here, but still decently populous. And, it's getting to be nighttime. The city lights up really nice. I feel like I'm missing a texture pack or something because I think these lights are not supposed to look like that. I apologize. But okay, now we're getting to real suburbia here. We got ourselves like a gas station, Shell station. Some more strip retail here. This is great. Are we going to see some tract housing? Are we going to see some real sprawl here? Because we're getting some nice kind of light industrial use too here, like warehouses. Like this is a really cool warehouse too. It's really nice. Like, in a fantasy city like this, you can often sort of neglect some of the more ugly parts of a city. Oh, great. And the warehousing and industrial is right near a rail line, which is super accurate. Oh, this looks like a building under construction. Nice little overpass here. This is great. Another gas station. Okay, so yeah, there's no housing, and we've kind of made it all the way through the city. So the one like major critique I would say is that let's see some suburbs if this is an accurate city. Now I know Vancouver is a very dense city, known again for those towers, but it would be really cool to see some of those West Coast style bungalows or other houses that maybe make it feel more like a complete city. But all in all, I am super impressed with this city. It's unbelievable how much detail you get here. I mean, just the traffic lights and street lamps, and the road network is great. Again, just missing some parking perhaps in some of those areas, but holy cow, guys, I'm really impressed. You should check out this map. I've left a link to this map in the description, so you can go click on it and go to Planet Minecraft and download it if you want to explore it yourself. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get a chance to see all of it, but yeah, this is a great first city to review, and I'm super stoked to see the next one. All right, everyone, we've moved on to the next city, and this city is Greenfield. I thought Metropolis was very impressive, but I did a little bit of looking around in this city, and it may beat it. It is purported to be the largest city ever created in Minecraft, according to themselves on their Planet Minecraft page. And it's been downloaded over 800,000 times. So that's amazing. So I can't wait to look around some more. We're going to do the transect thing again. We're going to start out in the suburbs, head to the central city, and then head back out again. And I should say that this trajectory will not do Greenfield justice. Again, I've left a link to this place in the description, so you can go check it out. You can download it if you want, because it's insane. I'll put a map up right now so you can see how large this place is. And this map is the city is so big that this map is actually kind of useless to me. I can't actually navigate via this map because it's just so large that it just tells me the basic areas, and I don't know what that means. So, okay, so let's get started. So we have here, we start out in the suburbs. I'm going to follow this highway because I think that Greenfield does a really good job with highways in that they seem to really like designing them, and they design them really well. So this is an on-ramp here to a major highway. We have our McDonald's near the interchange, which is appropriate. And we have tract housing, gas station, some strip commercial. So very appropriate to be out here towards the edge of town and see that. And I should say back here, there's nothing. So this is the edge of the map. So we're going to fly along this freeway here, and we see lots of different houses. Very charming houses, actually fairly dense. The lot sizes are pretty small here. We're not seeing McMansions or exurban development at all. This to me looks like the density of almost streetcar suburbs. So they don't have the full transect either. They don't go all the way out to rural or like semi-rural, but they start at fairly dense housing, single family housing. So this looks like maybe like a grocery store, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so this is all suburb development. We got some up there. And interesting, this is an interesting off-ramp situation. You don't see that very often here in the United States, at least. Again, I chose this part because it looked like it was the goal of the creators was to be realistic and sort of an American city example. And this is very American right here. Look at this fancy interchange. And it's well landscaped and well lit even. Wow, that's amazing. So, and then we have more strip commercial near the interchange, which is very appropriate to have strip commercial near an interchange here. Let's see. Okay. And we're going to keep moving here. Through here. Oh, I like that little sign. That's very creative. And we're already getting more density. So again, both of these both of these cities, they ramp up their density very quickly. And I get it, because if you're designing a city in Minecraft, you're not going to try to build a city the exact same size as a large metropolis, the kind of metropolis that have very tall buildings in their downtown. That would just take you forever, and this transect would go on and on and on and on. So they're ramping up quickly so they can build the houses and they can build the skyscrapers and everything in between fairly quickly. Let me get this cool bridge. I like this. I like this park here. This is reminds me of like a Buckingham Fountain in Chicago kind of a thing along the lakefront. But I think this is a river because has a bridge here. Yeah, speaking of Chicago, when I was wandering around this city earlier, I found what was a dead ringer for Navy Pier. So there's at least some sort of Chicago, some Chicago influence here. Also, I came across a cool Chinatown. The description of this city says that there's many Easter eggs to find, and I totally believe it. And when I went down in here, I think under here, there's like parking garages, and I got attacked by creatures. I don't know Minecraft well enough. I think I was in survival mode, and I basically got mugged in a parking garage. So this city needs to work on its crime prevention. But this is an amazing complex here. It kind of reminds me again some of these like corporate complexes of the 70s, like a Renaissance Center in Detroit kind of vibe, where it's a city within a city, which is really cool. I mean, it's amazing. Both this city and the previous city, they really had a keen eye on, what cities look like, and they did a fantastic job of mimicking it. Another under construction building here. That's a nice touch. And you have a historic building here. Looks really cool. Let's keep going a little bit faster here, because I think we're kind of in downtown here. The only reason I'm not confident is because the city is just so gigantic, and there's so many different districts that I'm having a hard time keeping track of where I am here. So I'm just trying to stick to this transect. But okay, so this city does have some older buildings too. Though I will say that I think that the last city, Metropolis, did a nicer job of creating more of a historic American style historic district. Though I again can't be certain because this is a really large map. So okay, yeah, here's some of that kind of lower scale, older stuff. And I think this is the Chinatown I saw. Yeah, this is just really nice. I happen to fly through here at night, and it lights up just beautifully. So you got the Chinese lanterns and stuff, and it's really cool. I don't know, this is like maybe a museum. Let's just follow this for a little bit. This nice little boulevard. It's sort of a civic way here. It looks like some museums along here. It's very nice. And maybe these are government buildings. I don't know. One thing I've noticed flying through here, maybe let's see if I can zoom in here, see if I can, or head down here, see if I can see. The signage in Minecraft is funny because I guess you're only allowed to type onto like these like special sign blocks or something. So you can't really express yourself. You can't change fonts. Oh, that's a nice mural. That's a really nice touch too. I don't know. I'm not finding them here. But these little sign blocks. Oh, is this a fire station? Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So these little sign blocks are not very convincing signs. So it makes me think that the city of Greenfield, or all Minecraft cities, pass very restrictive sign ordinances where you can't have fancy signs anywhere. You can only have signs that you can, be really up close to read. I'm not finding any now. If I see one, I'll let you know. But yeah, it's great. The thing with signs are heavily regulated in the zoning code for most cities. So it's not uncommon to have, kind of restrictions on signs. The one thing you can't do, at least here in the United States, here are the signs. Okay, I can't even read these unless you like get up close. And let me go down. What do we got here? Okay. It's a metro station. Very cool. I'm not going to explore the metros here because I think both cities had really cool mass transit. Oops. But anyway, sorry, back on the topic of sign laws. So you can restrict signs, but you can't restrict based on message because that would violate the First Amendment rights of the person putting up the sign. So you can't say, religious signs need to be a certain way, or political signs need to be kind of a certain way, or can't be shown here or there. You have to be very, very careful with how you regulate signs because of that First Amendment issue. Okay, so we also have this nice little kind of channeled river here alongside. So I'm still following this highway, but I'm off a little bit. I've seen a lot of parking in this in Greenfield, which is really nice touch in the sense that it's realistic, even though I don't like it in actual cities. Okay, I'm crossing the river here into some upper class but slightly lower density housing, which is very nice. And I just wanted to take a second to think about all of the effort that went into planning a city like this. It's similar in a way to how cities are really planned, I'm guessing, because like the real world, once you build a Minecraft building and lay out Minecraft roads, it's very difficult to move those later. So, it's raining. I didn't realize it could rain here, but I think I have some skills here. I'm going to turn the daylight back on, and I think that there's a clear weather script here that thing I can do to make it clear again. Okay, great. We're back and running here. But, and also, oh my gosh, we're another bridge here. I don't exactly know what's happening. Why there's another bridge. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite road ever. This isn't a bridge. It's a roundabout heading back into town. On the topic of planning, I'm sure that they're planning another area over here to connect, but not right now. And the road just circles back around. But back to my topic here. So, Minecraft buildings, just like real buildings, they can't be moved or changed very easily. So proper planning is really important. In a game like SimCity, it's pretty easy to bulldoze a road, bulldoze some buildings, rezone, and then in a few minutes, the city's growing back again. But here, there's a lot of effort placed on these buildings. I'm guessing they're difficult to change and they have some sort of ripple effects with other creations on this map. So the next time I do this, if I do it again, I really want to get a hold of some of the planning documents that these teams of people use to design Minecraft cities, because I'm sure they are in some ways very similar to the planning documents and planning processes actual planners go through when they're designing a city. And that's why I really like these Minecraft cities. They're a little bit of a different thing than a SimCity city, where the game engine might be realistic. Here, the planning process, I'm guessing, is fairly realistic. So I'm going to leave Greenfield here as we explore these outer islands. It was great. I'll leave a link to the city in the description. Fantastic. Impressive. I did not scratch the surface. 5 stars for me in terms of review. This is amazing. But let's get to the next city, shall we? And here we are. This is a bit of a different looking city. This is not the modern metropolises that I showed you previously. This city is special for a different reason. This city was not painstakingly designed by one or more humans, but designed by an algorithm. This particular settlement algorithm was created by Philip Squarsky, and it won the 2018 Settlement Generation Competition put on by researchers at NYU. So let's take a look around to see how he did. So the idea here is that he generated an algorithm, or made an algorithm, and then the competition folks apply the algorithm to different maps to see how well it created a settlement or a city. And they gave some very difficult terrain. So this is just one of the 4 options that they gave, or 4 maps that they tested this algorithm on. And I would say he did a pretty good job. Again, he won this competition, and the buildings all look pretty good. So the buildings are pretty repetitive, obviously, compared to the metropolises we just saw. But if we go in here a little bit, we can see that, they do a pretty good job of conforming to the land. Like you have the floor here, and there's some, it shores up the bottom to make a nice even base. There's a lot of pigs. Okay, so I didn't realize this about Minecraft, that there are animals in Minecraft, which is cool. Oh, and they make sounds. That's really cool. They're pigs and they make sounds, which makes me wonder, why can't we get more people in these Minecraft cities? So that's one thing I didn't mention before in the last 2 cities in particular. Like, they were incredibly dead. It was like the entire city had been, evacuated in, there's a hurricane coming or something, or, you woke up from a hospital stay and found out that, everybody was turned into zombies. So I don't know if, Minecraft has this plan, but it'd be awesome to have people in these places to make them feel populated. Also, the lack of cars and vehicles, it just makes them feel a little bit dead. And again, this is not a critique for any of the folks making these Minecraft cities who are amazing. It's more of Minecraft itself, but you're just creating these cities that are empty. And it's a little sad. I often kind of chuckle when I see, posts and message boards and things about people who really care about the skyline of their city, like the design of the skyline, like as if it's sort of its own independent work of art. And they care about, this building is going to make the skyline look better, or more kind of even or balanced. And I get it, to a certain extent, you want your city to kind of look nice on postcards and things, but cities are really more than just buildings. Cities are people, and without them, they just feel sort of kind of half baked. Okay, so back to the city though. Sorry about that digression. The one thing I will say about this entry here is that there are no real roads. I mean, there's sort of roads. There's some paths here. I don't know where these paths are really intending on going. They don't connect to each other. And there seems to be lots of gardens with water in them, like they're sort of aquaponics or something. I don't know. I don't know if those were there already or generated by the settlement generator. And you have some buildings. You have buildings way up here too, which is kind of, I would not want to step out of this door when it's icy like this. That's dangerous. That's just dangerous. But it did a good job. The algorithm did a good job of generating these buildings on level terrain. I'm sure that's what it was going for, and in clusters when possible. And it certainly makes for a dramatic looking city. But there's no real circulation system, which I think is a bit of a downfall. But I really find the reason I wanted to highlight this was I think it's really interesting that we have, the concept that we could generate a city algorithmically as opposed to, using the brains of planners. Is this the future? Am I going to be out of a job someday because algorithms can produce plans and development projects far better than us people? I don't think so. And maybe that's just because I'm a planner and I don't want to lose my job someday. But I also think that, planning is inherently a political process. So you just need people to butt heads about what the development's going to be like, where it's going to go, the impacts, the environmental consequences, things like that. You just can't put that into an algorithm. But I think it's a really interesting experiment. And the cool thing is, if you want to try your hand at this, if you think that you can do a better settlement algorithm than the one I'm showing you, you can actually compete in the 2019 competition. This guy, he won the 2018 competition, but they're holding another one and the entries are open now. So I'll leave a link in the description to that competition. Again, the folks at NYU are running it and it's really cool. So I'd recommend that you check it out.
Thanks for sticking with me to the end of this video. I had so much fun exploring all of these Minecraft cities. If you like this video, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see another one similar to it, maybe with city skyline cities. That might be cool. And we've reached the point in this video where it's time to talk about our sponsor, and we have a new one this week, Dashlane. Dashlane is great because it solves a problem I have, and you probably have too, and that's remembering all the passwords you have for all of the different websites and apps and accounts that proliferate when you start using the internet at all. Dashlane will store all of your passwords and payment information super securely, and then you can use them on your computer or phone or wherever you need them. Dashlane will even create new secure passwords for you so you're not relying on some lame password or some variant of it. The best thing about this is you can get a 30-day free trial of Dashlane if you head to dashlane.com/citybeautiful. And if you already know that you need this product in your life, you can get 10% off the premium subscription price by using the code CITYBEAUTIFUL. That's a great deal on what's already a super affordable service, so don't delay and go check out Dashlane. This is my last video of 2018. I've been making videos on this channel now for 2 years, and I couldn't have done it without my Patreon patrons and viewers like you. Thank you so much, and here's to another 2 years.